3 points away. The countdown is on. Shannon, your thoughts on what LeBron had to say?
I believe him. It is. The records in other sports aren't as storied or as cherished as baseball. That's why, Skip, when they say they're tainted. And because, Skip, baseball is a round number. Skip, we knew what 714 was. We knew what 61 was. Mm-hmm. There is no 61.6. There is no 714.8. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But in basketball and football, Skip, you got 18,000. This. If it was a round number, if the record was Emmitt Smith had 18,000 rushing yards, but it's 18,000 and something. Mm-hmm. We like Kareem, if it was a round number, 37,000, okay, but it's 38,000 and something. Mm-hmm. So to get that exact number, it's like, well, damn, what? And he said, I just knew it was 38,000 and something. I didn't know the exact number. So I believe him. Skip, I didn't know what the tight end receiving record was or these records because it's like X and X. It's not an even number. It's 61. So when he's talking about Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa coming up the bay, like, well, damn, there's a realistic possibility. Now, I never thought either one of those guys was going to get Hank Aaron. Hell, I didn't think anybody was going to get Hank. Like, how you going to get, man, do you understand how many homers that is and how long you got to play and hit home runs consistently? I think that's what everybody thought about Kareem's record. Y'all do realize Kareem played 20 years. Y'all do realize the level of consistency in which he averaged like 30 points a game like his first 4 or 5 years in the league, Skip. And so it's like, man, ain't nobody going to get that record. And nobody's going to play long enough, consistent enough to get that many points. And lo and behold, so I agree with LeBron that he probably didn't know the exact number. Like he said, I knew it was 38,000, but 38,000 in what? I knew what Hank Aaron's record was. I knew what Babe Ruth's record was, and so forth and so on. But it is a cherished record. I mean, we know it's. I think the scoring, the goal record in hockey, I think it's 892.
Yep.
By Wayne Gretzky. Mm-hmm. But it's an even round number, Skip. There is no yardage. 38,357. There's none of that. Somebody would have asked you, Skip, how many yards did Tom Brady pass for? Man, you like 89,000 and something. You don't know. So I agree with LeBron. It is a storied record. And if to have that, you're on the top. Think about it. The league has been in existence for 76 years. There's only been a handful of guys that have held the record. Yep. Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem, I think Mike had held it. A few other guys have held the record. So now, to stand on Mount Everest, Olympus, or whatever great mountain you want to say, to stand on top of it and to look down and like, damn, all these great players, and I'm standing on top of it. And I think it's going to be, because when he's done, it's going to almost seem more unbreakable than when Kareem set the record. Because Kareem broke the record at 84, Skip. He played another 4 or 5 years. I don't know if LeBron's going to play 4 or 5 years, but I think he's going to play another 2 to 3 years and going to put that record out there. So I believe him. I believe this record is storied, it's cherished, because it's one of the major sports in North America. And for him to have it would be an unbelievable, well, when he gets it, it's going to be an unbelievable achievement. But I believe everything that he said. I believe that he did not know the exact number, but it is a historic milestone when he gets it.
Okay. Obviously, LeBron James is now on the doorstep
63
of an all-time achievement, but not an all-time memorable record to me. And he lost me when he went to baseball because you can't go to baseball with this. It came across to me as something of a humble brag, like, you know, it's right up there with, no, well, you're saying that, but I don't think the public is saying that because even the hardest core LeBron fans don't know that number. That we start with that because it's just too out there. It's 38,000. I have to look at it right now. 38,387. Okay, who knew? All right. So I'm not diminishing what he's about to accomplish, but you can't go there. He went into something that is hallowed because the numbers are emblazoned in your sports psyche. You're growing up in rural Georgia. I'm in Oklahoma City, and we know 714.
Yes.
We just know it.
Yep.
We know 61. We know 62.
Right.
We know these numbers. We know Barry Bonds, 73.
Right.
We know 715. We know all these things.
When Hank broke it, it was 755.
Okay. He went up to 755
when he
finally finished. Okay, just quickly to walk some of our younger fans back through this. Babe Ruth hit 714 home runs. And almost 40 years passed before Hank Aaron broke the record.
Yes.
And for those who don't get this, it was monumental because we had a black man in Atlanta, Georgia, about to eclipse the biggest white star ever because baseball was it. He might be. Babe Ruth is like so legendary, there's a candy bar named after it, right?
Ruthian.
The Ruthian. And he was mythical to me because even I'm not old enough to know what he looked like. I see the grainy tape, and I see him hitting left-handed home. I watched all the movies about Babe Ruth, and I read all the bios to know everything I can. But I know where I was. That afternoon, I was studying for finals in my dorm room on the 14th floor of Tower 1 at Vanderbilt University with my little tiny portable black and white TV. I am watching it because it is live in the afternoon. They're breaking into every network because Hank Aaron is on the doorstep of Babe Ruth. And I was fortunate enough, 1 year later in spring training, my first year out of college, I was at the Miami Herald, to be assigned to do a piece talking to Hank Aaron's teammates at spring training in West Palm Beach where they the Braves trained. Hank wouldn't talk to me about it because he said it was just too deep and too hard, all of the racist mail that he got. But it crushed him, man, because it was relentless hate mail, death threats. It was legitimate death threats where they had to fear for his life. And I'll never forget the ball sailing into the bullpen, and it was caught by a guy named Tom House, who became one of my best friends, a left-handed pitcher, and he just catches it on the fly. And Craig Sager, may he rest in peace, runs out and is running along with Hank Aaron as a big Atlanta Braves fan, going crazy, sort of escorting him around the bases. You want to talk about legendary. I never thought I would see the day.
I think Dusty Baker's on the deck circle.
He was on the on-deck circle. And I've talked to Aaron's teammate, Ralph Garr. Do you remember Ralph Garr? And he just poured his heart out about what Hank had gone through. And I wrote this piece for the Miami Herald. So the point is, I felt like I was almost part of it. And then I hark back to Roger Maris trying to eclipse Babe Ruth's single-season home run record of 60. And it had stood for forever. It stood for 34 years. Okay, so 34 years.
27.
Okay, and they were maybe the mightiest team of all time was the 27 Yankees. And I know this is all flashback, but trust me, it was it at the time. So do I remember where I was when I heard that Roger Maris had hit his 61st home run? I do. Believe it or not, I was going home from football practice in the fall in September. Todd Thompson's father was driving us home, several of us home, and it came on the radio. Roger Maris has just eclipsed. Well, it was enormous. How did he do it? And I told you the other day. Then stories came out where he lost all of his hair because of the pressure, because it's so hard to hit a home run.
Well, I think the thing that was working against him is that nobody wanted him to break Babe Ruth's record because he was so beloved. No one wanted Hank Aaron to break Babe Ruth's record. Not only was he beloved, but it was a black man. Black man had only been started to play since 1947. So you think about that. So he broke the record in 74?
Yes.
47, 74. That's 27 years.
Okay, that's it.
So there's a lot at play here. LeBron is not... Look, I'm sure there are some people that don't like LeBron Skip, but I don't think it's to the vitriol
that
with Roger Maris and Hank Aaron.
I mean, nobody resents this. I mean, who resents it?
They're not sending him death threats saying, I hope you die N-word.
Because LeBron, trust me, no disrespect to Kareem, but LeBron is 100 times more lovable than Kareem was. Kareem was difficult. He was distant from the media. He was unto himself. He was just distant. He just was aloof. From everybody except his teammates internally with the Lakers. But I've told you, I'd set up one interview with Kareem in like 85. It would be right after he broke the record. And he stiffed me on the interview. I don't know why, but he stiffed everybody. And yet it hurt me because I'd planned a whole day's column around this interview. And it's supposed to be at Moody Coliseum in Dallas where they were going to have a little workout. And he left and stiffed me. Okay, that's who he was. LeBron doesn't stiff anybody. He is beloved, and he should, because you just heard him. He just poured his heart out about what
he's
what
definitely not.
means.
If he says, I'm going to sit down and do an interview with you, he's going to sit down and do an interview with you. He's not going to cancel at the last minute.
Then the next thing I was involved in, day after day after day, was the great home run race of 1998, and I've never seen anything like it, except it was steroid fueled.
Right.
So it all got sort of disqualified. But in the days, you know what was happening.
Right.
Because you were winning a Super Bowl at that point.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. 98.
But I was there for every step of the way because I'd never seen anything like it, because it got to the point where steroid fueled, but they were hitting home runs on cue.
Yes.
I've never seen anything, and they blow past 62 home runs, and yet McGwire winds up with 70. Because listen to this. Third to the last game, he hits one. Then second to the last game, he hits two. And the last day of the season, he hits 2 more home runs. So he hits 5 in 3 days to get all the way to vault to 70.
Right.
And Sammy was just fighting his tail off.
Sammy had the lead for the longest time.
I know, he did. He had the lead, and he fell off and wound up with 66. No shame in that.
Right.
Because they both broke the record. And then, obviously, I was there for every step of the way because I was covering Barry Bonds when he broke the record to get to all the way to 73. And then he breaks Hank Aaron's record of 755. So I was there for all these, and they're emblazoned in my psyche because they're home runs. And home runs, to me, are so much harder to hit than a field goal or a three-point shot is to score. Because LeBron's going to score every night. He's going to get 30, 35 a game every night. And so it doesn't seem like as difficult a task as hitting home runs. So I can't even begin to equate it.
Well, they say the hardest thing to do is hit a baseball.
Well, it is.
So,
okay, what did we just see this summer? We saw Aaron Judge chasing Roger Maris's American League home run record.
Right.
And it seemed like it went on forever. Every night, we're going to cut in for this at-bat. We're going to cut in. We're going to cut in again. We're going to cut in again. It took him 8 games to tie, and then it took 6 more games for him, and it went to the last day for him to hit the one that broke it to get to 62. 60, well, because it's hard, and the pressure mounts, and you're grinding the bat into sawdust because you're trying to find a pitch, and they're not. It's the only game where you can disqualify the hitter. I told you the Barry year was so spectacular to me, and I was there for game after game. I went on the road with them. They just wouldn't pitch to him because
you got one pitch a game, maybe.
The whole thing is flawed. The whole system is flawed because the greatest hitter in the game, to me, there's never been anything like Barry Bonds with a bat in his hand. Steroids or no, I don't care what you say about him. It was off the charts. His ability to make contact with the base. It's the greatest ever.
Yeah.
He's the greatest hitter. He's been on Ted Williams or Babe Ruth, whoever you want to throw out there, because I watched, he would get 2 pitches a game, and he would hit them either through the wall or over the wall, right? They would either hit the wall and with a resounding thud or go over the wall. That's how locked in he was down the stretch of those years, especially the 73 home run year. So it's hard for me to equate these kind of records to what LeBron has done because, and again, I'm taking nothing away, but there's a lot of longevity involved in LeBron's record because he has been Iron Man. He figured out how to beat Father Time in a game that is much harder to play long as quarterback is because we saw Brady make it to 45, but as you kept pointing out, well, he's protected in the pocket. He doesn't have to play defense.
Well, Skip, it's harder to play longer in basketball, because you have to play both ends and you're constantly moving.
Even if you don't give it your all on defense, you still have to go down there and play it.
Exactly.
Or you'll look like a fool if you just let your guy score 40 on you, right?
Exactly, yes.
Okay, so now we look at the longevity of this, and obviously Kareem played even longer than LeBron has played.
Right.
But the big picture of this for me, the reason it's hard on my psyche is because there's a three-point shot. And LeBron has never been a great three-point shooter. He's been below average, but he has made 2,232 threes.
Right.
Well, Kareem's first 10 years, there wasn't even a three-point line. And he made 1 in his whole career.
1 for 18.
He made 1 for 18, okay? So he scored 3 points from the three-point line. And LeBron scored 6,696 points has so far. We're just doing regular season here from the three-point line.
Yes.
So think about this. LeBron has scored 6,693 more three-point points than Kareem scored. Well, it's almost like if in Babe Ruth's era, a home run, if you hit a solo home run, counts only 1, but for Sosa and McGwire, it would be like a solo home run counted two runs. Or 2 home runs.
Right.
Well, it's not a level playing field because LeBron had a huge advantage with the three-point shot.
But, Skip, when you factor it in that Kareem still has so many more field goal attempts and he's going to play so many he's going to be over 100 games.
Yeah.
So if you factor in 100 games and LeBron James is shooting what he normally shoots, which is about 19 to 20 shots per game, you see how many more field goal attempts that Kareem has gotten up other than LeBron.
All right.
But if you were to rank these, I think baseball, I would still put the basketball, Mark, second. As far as in North American sports, I would put it second behind the baseball. Because
what about the rushing title in football? No,
no, Skip, no.
Again, I don't even know what the number is. I just know Emmett holds it.
It's 18,000.
Okay.
But I don't know if it's 18,255, 18,300. I don't know.
Okay.
But I just think because Skip, here's the thing: if I can, on the max I can score is 5. If I can score 4 points. On the back, if I get fouled on a 3-point play and I make it, that's 4.
Yeah.
On one carry, Emmett can get 80 yards.
Okay. All right, that's fair. All right.
You know what I'm saying?
All right. Except he's going to get hit, and he's going to get hit again, even though he was the greatest ever at avoiding contact I've ever seen. And that's how he lasted. And it's also a longevity mark.
Yeah, but I don't think, Emmett played 1 year longer than I did, so he played 15. Skip, I don't know if somebody's going to break that record because they don't run the ball. Everything is a 2-back system, a 3-back system now. So the likelihood of you finding one back, Derrick Henry is still, what? Probably over 10,000 yards away from this record. He's not going to get that record.
And he does run to and through contact, and it's just too hard on
Adrian Peterson.
Too hard.
He ran the collision. You can't last long. You can't play long enough.
No human can last like that. Okay, now back to Kareem's mark. You say you were aware of it. I'm a columnist in Dallas, and I'm covering the Mavericks because they're on the rise. And Mavericks-Lakers was becoming a thing because they were at each other's throat in playoff games that built up to a crescendo in '88 when they were in the conference final, and it went to Game 7 out here at the Fabulous Forum and went down to the wire when Magic switched off and said, I'll take Roy Tarpley. You probably don't remember Roy Tarpley.
I do remember Roy Tarpley.
But a lot of people probably don't. But listen, he was a 7-foot monster who could shoot it, and he was a handful, and Kareem was having a hard time with him because
he could put the ball on the floor.
That's correct. And he could go outside and make shots, and he was just he was tormenting Kareem, and Magic said, I got him. And he took him in the fourth quarter, and he took him out of the game. And then Mark McGwire went south to the Mavericks. That's a whole nother story. But the point is that all through this time, this is 1984, on April the 5th of 1984, I got to tell you, from my heart, I'm a big sports fan, and I'm a sports columnist in Dallas. I wasn't even aware that he passed Wilt because I wouldn't have known what Wilt's record was. And it was more of a footnote to me that he makes a sky hook from, I saw it last night on the Laker Network out here, from the baseline. It's the hardest shot. It's like the ultimate horse shot is to shoot a hook with no backboard, down the line. To me, the hardest shot in basketball is like a 10-foot jumper on the baseline because it's all touch and feel because you don't have any, there's no perspective, there's no backboard, you're shooting it just at the rim, at the hoop. And he makes it.
He made it over Mark Eaton.
He did.
Who's a 3-time
7-4, right?
3-time defensive player of the year, Mark Eaton.
All right. So that happened on April 5th. And then I'm covering the NBA Finals that year, and it's the tragic Johnson Finals.
Absolutely.
And it goes to Game 7 at Boston, and Boston wins it. And Magic had a terrible Game 4, as you recall. And
dribbled out the clock, and they lost in overtime.
Okay. And he missed 2 free throws in overtime, and it was tragic Johnson. Okay. And I think he righted the wrong.
Yeah, he came back.
I think he did just fine, right? Okay, he did just fine. But the point is, I'm in the flow of this. I'm writing every day about it, and I never wrote a peep about April the 5th, 1984, that he passed Wilt. Right. Because I wasn't aware of it enough. And it wasn't a national story.
Yeah, they didn't chronicle it like it do. They didn't celebrate like they do. Like any record, major record now, they're going to stop the game. They're going to celebrate it, Skip. It wasn't celebrated like it is. I mean, I remember.
And as you pointed out, for some reason, they're playing the Jazz at the Thomas and Mack Center in Vegas. What? In April. It's just like weird. I don't know. And it was so off radar that it missed my radar completely. Go ahead.
Yeah, but that's the thing, Skip. It is, and I agree. You know, to have any record, you have to have longevity. But Skip, you still have to maintain a level of excellence. You still have to maintain a level of play because we've seen guys play great for 10 years, for 15 years. and they're like, okay, it's a foregone conclusion.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, injury starts to besiege them, or they are not that same players the next 2 to 3 years. But for LeBron to maintain this level, I didn't think I would see somebody break it, especially Skip, when he broke the record. Like I said, you do realize they won the championship, Skip, in '88. Kareem was on that team.
Yeah.
Kareem was on that team.
Okay.
So you talk about 85, 86, 87, 88. He played another 4 years.
Okay, I got it. Yeah,
So
he just kept on
he
keeping
kept
on.
going.
Oh, yeah, he
so
did.
now
Okay.
he flew because the record was like 30,000 points. Skip, when he broke a little over 30,000 with Wilt had.
Yep.
He went 8,000 past it.
Yep. Well, there was no countdown to Wilt that I can recall.
No, there was,
and now we do have a countdown to Kareem.
Yes.
And I'm happy for LeBron because he deserves this acclaim, this spotlight, because it's 20 years in the making, but it still snuck up on me.
Right.
I wasn't thinking about it until all of a sudden, I don't know, 2 months ago, I started, wait a second. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, it's kind of like with Steph. They had to count down when he was going to pass Reggie Miller.
That's
and then every game, and then Reggie and Ray Allen was going to be in the building.
Yep. That's
so it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable what he's doing. I didn't think I would see it in my lifetime. I'm like, who's going to play long enough, consistent enough, put the ball in the basket well enough to break this record?
Yeah, it's just who can stay healthy that long, who can stay, excited to play basketball that long.
But Skip, do you realize how much you got to put the ball in the basket?
You do.
You got to do over 20, like 25, 26 points a game.
Yep.
For somebody that's going to break this record for LeBron is going to need to play 22, 23 seasons and average like 28 points a game. That's what it's going to take to break his record.
Yep. And I want to see somebody, the one thing I'm never going to see in certainly my lifetime, nobody is ever going to play with the energy and enthusiasm that he's playing in his 20th year.
No.
It's just hard because he's playing like he's 28 or 22.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's the beauty of this to me.
It is.
Yeah.
And he's not, it's not.
He's not just hanging on for dear life.
No, he's not. Skip, he's not hanging on just to break a record.
No. No. Here we go.
I need to happen
Once he
Tuesday.
gets it, guys, then he can turn around and start chasing that all-time assist record as well. He's going on that list, too.
That one.
Leave that to Chris Paul or
Keep the
somebody.
to-do list going. Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.